Look at this. I got headphones on. I got a mic going. Baby.
If
Huh?
only people could see you now.
Hey, no video. We've gone through this before.
All right,
No
all right,
video.
all right. Welcome to This Commerce Life. This is a podcast aimed at small, medium entrepreneurs focused on commerce. I'm Phil, your host, and Kenny, your co-host, will join us as well. And we're going to talk to you about the world of retail and commerce and how things are changing in the world.
Hit record.
We are recording.
Hit record. Wow, look
Kenny
at
and
that.
Phil. Pretty cool, pretty cool.
Not bad. We had to take 5 minutes or a couple minutes before we started tonight to figure out what the hell we're going to talk about.
So for the audience, you're in for a treat because we never planned. So hopefully this is some bomb. Otherwise, we'll know never to plan ever again.
Well, 3 minutes of planning. I don't know if that constitutes planning. And I think 3 minutes was maybe even exaggerated. It might have been like 2 minutes. No, what happened tonight, unfortunately, the guest we were going to have on, we may have to reschedule. Sounds like it was a last minute, unfortunate
correct.
Situation. So
yeah.
Anyway, it's not that big a deal.
But Kenny and I have been talking about this for a little bit. We've gotten a lot of new listeners. We've got a lot of downloads. We noticed that a lot of people are going back and listening to the About Us, which is way back in the beginning, like 131, 33.
133 now.
Yeah. So
134 tonight.
Yeah. So 133 episodes ago. So what we thought we might do is, rather than have you go all the way back there, because maybe we don't sound as pretty as we do today, or
I don't think we sound any smarter. I'll give you that one. That's for sure. I think we might sound a little prettier. Maybe got a little sexier voice than we had at the beginning. We definitely sound better. Mics.
Yeah, we
headphones.
Got mics. We got headphones.
Lots of stuff going
we
on,
look
man.
pro. So
lots of stuff going on.
Yeah. So we figured that what we might do is, over the last 133 episodes, we've kind of revealed a whole bunch of stuff about us. But this might be a good episode to just kind of lay it out a little bit. So if you're new to the podcast, this is a good one to listen to. Kind of gives you context of who we are. Or it scares you away right away. Saves you 133 episodes. So
or 134, because you can cut this one early if you want.
Yeah. You could cut here and So Kenny, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Phil, so much for having me.
Do you want to tell them who you are? Is that weird? Should I introduce you?
It is. It's kind of strange, right? Because we've been doing this for so long.
Yeah.
I guess what it is, I don't know if people really know. I'm not too sure if people even really know why we do this or what the purpose was, right?
Yeah.
And I think at the time that we started this, it was because we both have a real interest in, obviously, retail.
Yeah.
Right. We like CPG, like consumer packaged goods. We like retail. I think generally speaking, we like business. I think we're both pretty much entrepreneurial minded. Yeah. So when we had our conversation in my coffee bar almost 2.5 years ago, literally almost 2.5 years ago, it was one of those things. So people don't know, like Phil and I really didn't know each other at all. We'd met each other 2-3 times, and all the years that he was with.
Oh my gosh!
I guess
Pfizer and then J&J, and we were within each other's sphere of influences. Yeah.
Yep. So Phil was the marketing side of those companies, and I was a buyer at London Drugs, or merchandise manager.
Actually,
you call it.
I was sales when I met you. I was.
Yeah.
So I was a sales guy, and then I was a category development guy. No, you met me as a sales strat guy.
Yeah, you were already like on that side. Like you were.
But I was very sales and not marketing. Like my marketing life comes after CPG.
When does your marketing life come in?
Yeah. It comes in when I was with Hubba and the startups and doing all the digital stuff and,
I thought you were more involved even on the other sides.
No, well, I mean, sales strategy is it's very trade marketing-ish, right?
Yeah,
so I did that for a lot of years. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But the formal marketing stuff
trade
didn't start.
marketing.
Yeah.
Right. I still
Yeah.
call all that. I mean,
Yeah,
to
yeah,
me,
it's
trade
all-
marketing,
yeah.
it's all marketing. You're
Yeah.
taking what the marketers did or
Yeah.
do and put
Yeah.
it into English so that all the buyers
Yeah,
and merchandise
yeah.
managers can understand
Yeah.
it or give a shit about it.
Yeah.
Because quite frankly, all the marketing, okay, right?
Blah, blah,
Just
blah.
tell me how that impacts
Yeah.
my world. Because you know what? Give me the first page, couple pictures in between, and last page. That's a typical buyer. Marketers like to make reports 50 pages. Buyers need about 4.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Introduction page doesn't count. Nobody gives a shit. You can skip
Yeah.
that page. Right? But anyway, so we talked. We met at the coffee bar. First time like we've ever acted. That was the first time we actually met where we actually sat down for an
Yeah.
extended period of time with no business aspect.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I guess we just kind of hit it off, shot the
Yeah.
shit
It
for a
was
couple
freaking
hours.
fun. Yeah.
Right? And then the next thing we know, we should do a podcast. Right? And I'm thinking, yeah, okay, I'll do a podcast. As long as you're doing the podcast, I have no freaking idea
Yeah.
about the podcast.
Yeah.
And shit, I think like within a week or two, we started. Maybe 3 weeks later,
Yeah. About 3 weeks.
maybe 4 on the top side.
We set up. We didn't even know. So after we met, literally we left it like, dude, we should do this more often.
Right.
How do we do that? Don't know. And then I was like, oh, I think I have an idea. We went away, and then I was like, hey, we should do a podcast. He went, I don't know what that means. And then
What a podcast was, but I'm not doing a podcast.
Yeah. And then we literally like everything that you see. So this Commerce Life, we kicked around, I don't know, like 10 names.
Yeah.
And then settled on this Commerce Life. The logo, I think I had a buddy of mine.
Just everything that happens on the show, Phil's going to make it sound like we do. It's not a we. So if you haven't listened to the show, this is all about us. Let's get it straight right now. All the we shit is bullshit. That Phil does not we. Phil does. Tells me what we're doing, and typically I just agree because I have no idea how to fix it anyway. So it's all about Phil, and I am so good with that. Just roll. Very smart.
No, come on. We pair well together, and it works, right? So picked a logo, and then and that was it, right? And then I think we
started recording.
I think we took one. We may have one dry run somewhere, and then that was it.
I don't know if we have one, but I think we did.
I think we have one.
Maybe we did a 10-minute or.
Yeah.
Then I don't.
If I can find it, I'll put it out like a bonus episode.
Okay. Because honestly, I don't remember.
Yeah. And we knew it took us a couple of episodes to hone it, right? Like we knew we wanted to talk retail. We knew we wanted to talk business. And I think at the beginning, we started talking like high level industry insights, which sometimes we tend to still do.
Yeah.
But then we realized quickly that where people really had an appetite for this, by people meaning our friends and people that we could coerce into listening to the show in the beginning, right, was actually more the small medium business stuff, right? So we like quickly settled into, hey, like here are fundamentals of business, here are things you need to know, right? And then we just kind of like grew from there pretty much.
Yeah, I remember we talked a little bit about inventory management. I think we've talked a little bit about pricing, like pretty, well,
not a little
it's
about
not necessarily. Yeah, I know. Well, I love pricing. Talk SKU rats. I like SKU rats. But we talked at it's pretty basic stuff that people have to really understand. Yeah. It's fundamentals of a business.
Yeah.
Right. It's really what it is. It's just basic fundamentals.
Yeah.
And I think it was important stuff because I think sometimes what happens, we've both been around a long time. Right. I mean, I'm 54 and Phil's like 26.
Yeah, I'm 48. 20.
We've been, I'm trying to make you feel good. You're almost 50, man. It comes fast, just so you know. But we've been around for a while, and I think one of the things that why we probably did this together and why we probably liked each other is because I think we both thought, you know what, we're at a point of life where we've done pretty well.
Yep.
We're not in bad spots. There's money. It's all good in the hood. And we thought, you know what, maybe it's time to just do something that kind of gives back. And I don't know, something we just have some fun doing.
Yeah.
Does that sound right?
Yeah. I mean, it was very much, so filling in some of the blanks, right? So for you, you'd been at London, you had left
For a long
because
time. I was in London 26 years.
Yeah, and then you had left, so you were 2
Yeah.
years outish when we met, and then I was at the time I was with Hubba,
Right.
but where the passion came in and where we really meshed was, I think you were working with a bunch of little brands to get them off the ground, right? Get them up and running. And then I was doing the same thing with Hubba. I won't go into Hubba because Hubba's like a whole different thing, but I was working with a bunch of boutique brands or guys that were, working hard to get up and running as well, right? So when you and I met, we both had this real passion for people that, like just really cool stories, right? Like the typical one that we were laughing about was someone who would say to us, "Oh, I saw this need. I started making it in my kitchen. Next thing you know, I'm selling it at farmers markets and family fairs, and now I'm like hand stamping foils and trying to sell this stuff at like Loblaws. And oh my god, I didn't expect that." You're right. Like we laugh a lot about, but how remarkable those stories are, right? Like these people
They're
who
pretty amazing
needs and then just build shit, right? Like it's amazing.
Yeah. It is pretty amazing. It's just,
yeah.
I think that was what probably the most intriguing part, or what stuff that intrigued me the most. And I think you did too. It's just the fact that I'm always impressed that people can get ideas and just go, right? I'm scared sometimes when they go and they don't know where they're going, but I've done that enough times on my own, so I get it. Because a typical entrepreneurial spirit is, you just go.
You build it,
You fall down, you scratch, you bandage, and you keep moving, right?
Yeah.
That's sort of the classic entrepreneur, right? And I think when you and I were talking about it, and as we got more into it, as we were thinking, we might be able to save these guys from having to buy boxes of bandages, maybe just a box.
Yeah.
Like if we can kind of show them some pitfalls.
Yeah.
Like I think some of the conversations we had were, did you know you had to pay these guys to get product on the shelf? What does that mean? You're thinking, well, listing fees have been around since the dawn of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
what's this thing where they take this money off every invoice? Yeah. That's
and
called
they don't
co-op.
pay until 180 days later. Like, what the hell?
I asked them to pay me in a week. Yeah, good for you. I'm glad that worked out well for you.
Yeah.
Right, as they negotiate, a 250 net 90, and not understand what that meant. And they couldn't understand why the two still came off on the 90.
And then, we had some where I think we ran into a couple of brands, I think, that got listed in places they never got expected to get listed in. I think one of them got listed at Walmart US that I was working with. Yeah. And she got into all 3,000 Walmarts. So she got this fill order that was enormous, and she couldn't make them all. Right? Couldn't even afford to make the inventory on them, right? And
should never have pitched.
Yeah.
Is what it came down to when you really looked at it. She should never have pitched.
Never.
She should have done is said, no,
Yeah.
I can't do this. This is what I can do.
Yeah.
Because even at that point, I mean, as notorious a reputation as buyers have, etc., a lot will, especially for smaller companies, a lot may say, listen, here's 500 stores.
Yeah.
And you go with it, or take a region. But I remember that. We had it's just. And I'm sure. I think at that time, I'm sure people were listening, thinking, "Well, I mean, how do you lose when you're like given business?" And you're thinking, "Well, because you weren't ready to get business."
Yeah. I mean, when you walk through pipe fill on 3,000 stores, 6 units a store, not including replenishment orders, like you don't have $1 million kicking around. You're screwed.
Yeah.
Right? Like
And you have to float that million.
Yeah. For the 180 it's going to take you the 2%.
Well, more exactly. Well, literally, you're probably got 30 to 60 days of getting it built.
Yeah.
Shipping it.
Yeah, it's true.
And then realistically, retailers are brutal, but even if it's 60 days, which is really not out in the world, you could be out. You could be out with hundreds of thousands of dollars for 4 to 6 months.
Yeah.
That's a long time to float.
It's a long time.
That, I mean, now if you're loaded, I guess it's not a big deal. But most of the people we talk to, us included, aren't those people.
Not so much. Not so
You
much.
know, I mean, I can float a couple $1,000 here and there.
Yeah.
But I can't do 500,000 for 6 months. I don't have that kind of.
Mm-mm.
Well, I don't have that kind of risk tolerance.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
That's the other thing, and I think that's the other thing. What always captivates us with entrepreneurs is risk. Like, how much risk? I mean, you and I both know people, the amount of risk they take. I'm thinking, holy shit, man! I don't know if I can sleep. I really don't. I don't know. I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could ever get into a state of calmness to sleep. On some of the risk people take.
Yeah. It's amazing.
No?
It's really amazing. Yeah. No, I agree with you. Yeah. So you've been a buyer. You've been in the London Drugs business for 20. You were there for 20.
Been in retail
years.
since 14.
Okay.
So I've been in retail for 40 years.
What kind of jobs have you held in categories and?
From the beginning?
Yeah.
I worked in frontline retail when I grew up in Trail. So I grew up in the Kootenays, right?
Yeah.
I did frontline retail. I worked in a shoe repair for years when I was going to high school. I worked in a stationery store.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did that. And then when I moved to Vancouver, I did stationery wholesale.
Mm-hmm.
I worked in a couple stereo shops because I liked music and I liked not your music. I like to play people's music, not create music.
Yeah.
That's another tip Phil has over talking. Phil's so much smarter than me. Every time I think about it, it gets worse. Well, that's okay. A whole different podcast. That might be a glory podcast.
We're talking about you right now.
Well, because I'm thinking, man, the guy that plays music, I just listen to me on, man.
No, come on. No. Keep going.
I took a job with London Drugs, and then I was with him for 26. And then at 50, I left. And my clients now are still pretty much CPG retail.
Yeah.
Whether it's food distributors or toy makers or a liquor store or a drugstore chain that I did work for.
Yeah.
I've literally always been in a retail world and I love product. I'm not so much a fan of the retail front end as much as I used to be, because I think customers and consumers have gotten very different and it's a tough gig.
Mm-hmm.
It's, that's a bitch. I mean, I know we spent a lot of time in COVID patting the backs of doctors and nurses, but that's their job and they get paid relatively well to do it.
Yeah.
Not diminishing the fact that it's high risk. You're paying some of these people $15-$16 an hour and they're frontline.
Yeah.
They see way more people than doctors see.
Yeah.
And they don't even know if these people are sick.
Yeah.
At least the doctors or the nurses got some PPE. And my God, holy shit.
Yeah.
So I'm not a big fan of that side of it, but that's sort of what I did and where I sort of came from and what I have been doing.
And then
did you start in retail?
I did. I did. Wait. So what categories did you cover?
In with London?
Yeah, so many. But I think it'll help, right? I think it'll help listeners.
I did.
You did OTC, did vitamins, so OTC, over the counter. Yeah.
Over the counter drugs. I did
vitamins. Vitamins.
Everything in OTC.
Feminine hygiene.
I did FemHy, paper, incontinence, foot care, all those categories. Sun. Okay. I did pet stationery, small appliances.
Wow.
Food.
Wow.
Import. So I was going to China to do stuff. What else did I do? Toys.
Okay.
Right. So I did pretty much, I did most of the categories on
almost
the
a full
floor.
Shop. Yeah.
And then because I was typically inquisitive and curious, I spent a lot of time with pharmacy because I just liked what they did.
Yeah.
I always liked what the electronics guys were doing because I'm just, it's fun. It's toys and gadgets. I mean, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then I just always had a curiosity over things. I like looking at stuff. I get a kick out of just being, just cool shit, right? I mean,
yeah.
I've always liked that side, so
that's cool.
That's sort of where I've always been. I've never left it. It's always the same stuff.
Yeah.
Probably why I collect, similar to you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just kind of buying and selling. I think I just like buying and selling stuff.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
I started retail. Where?
I started retail. I did. Oh my gosh. I mean, so. Yeah, I started around 14. I worked for, I'm really dating myself, but I worked for A&P. I was a warehouse boy. I don't even think my parents
at that young an age?
Yeah. I don't even think my parents knew I had a job. Like it was just like I was so bored one summer, like got on my bike, rode over, filled in the application form, and the guy said, "Yeah, sure, come back." And I probably worked like 10 shifts before my parents figured out that I had a job. so I worked at A&P. I did some stints at Tim Hortons. I sold shoes for collegiate sports for a whole bunch of years. So I did frontline retail. I took a small turn. I got involved with Tourism Toronto folks for a while, and that was really fun.
How old is that?
That was university years. So I did that for a bunch of years, and then my parents convinced me that going to the bank was a really good idea. So I worked for MasterCard.
All parents, old school. Old school ethnic parents, all like banks.
You know, so I worked at MasterCard, and then I worked at Royal Bank Insurance when Royal Bank Insurance was like brand new and not a thing. So I think I was in the original 12 hirees for RBC Insurance, and I hated it.
Post university, or
just first job out of university. I had to wear like a suit and tie. Couldn't afford anything, but I had spent all this money at Tip Top Tailors buying cheap suits because I needed to go to work in suits, and I thought I was going to pitch myself off a building. It was so terrible. And then I remember the day that I decided I just wasn't going to do this, because I was in a performance review with my manager, and she said, "You're doing great. If you keep doing what you're doing, you'll get promoted in 5 years." And I was like, no.
5 years?
No.
I don't think so.
You know, and I had a friend who was working HR for Unilever. At the time it was Lever Ponds. And so she said to me, "Listen, like, get me your resume." And I got a contract job at Lipton, the sister company of Lever Ponds, Lipton. Yeah. And I caused like huge issues at the bank because Royal Bank said, "Why are you leaving? You're a great employee." And I said, "I can't take it. It's too slow. I don't want to do it." "Where are you going?" "I'm going on contract." So I got paid half of what I got paid at RBC Insurance to go to Lipton. And so they kind of like freaked out. It caused this huge uproar. I left. But then I left and went to Unilever, spent 2 or 3 years at Unilever doing customer service and finance, like the AR,
still in the office. You're not.
Receivables, all that kind of stuff. And then moved to Revlon, did category management at Revlon. That was freaking fun. Wow. Who knew I would lip, eye, and face so much, but it was pretty fun. And then I went to Kimberly-Clark and did everything: diapers, incontinence, Kleenex, and then went to Danone and did yogurt. So I was category management.
Sales though. Like, this is all category management.
Category management. Danone, I was sales. So Danone was like pure sales. Danone hired me because they didn't understand Walmart. And I had done Walmart at Kimberly-Clark. And so at the time, Danone had nothing but, they had like 6 stores in the Eastern Townships in Quebec. So they weren't in, but they didn't understand why they weren't the leaders at Walmart. They didn't understand the Walmart system. So they were, so they hired me. We opened 194 stores in 2 years. Yeah. So at the end of the 2 years, I was like, I need help, right? Because I was opening stores. I was running around. I was doing my own Catman stuff. I was doing the key account stuff. It was my first key account job. And like, the only advice I got from the guy who gave me the files was, he said, "Just remember, they're not going to kill you, because if they do, they got to retrain somebody new."
So no matter how bad or worse how bad you're going to be, you're probably okay.
And so
that's reassuring.
Okay. And then like 18 months later, I was like, "Oh my God, I understand. Got it. Do you want to take a strip off this side this week, or a strip off this side?" Or, like it was a really hard learning lesson. And then I left Danone. I went to Pfizer. I did Catman at Pfizer. Then I did sales, and then I did sales strategy, and then we got bought by J&J, and then I did sales strategy. I did everything from allergy to cough, cold to all of women's health. So I think at one point I knew more about women's health than women did. I knew everything about every woman's menstrual cycle at J&J because they would come in and take product. I had everything. I had I had tampons and all this.
But I was OTC buyer. I was a dispensary. I even got to the point I knew I could ask questions, right? And we won't get into what they're for, but when people ask you about Monistat and you can actually answer, or
well, depends. Where are you? All of the.
You could ask enough where you could recommend. That's how sad it gets.
And then I moved into Neutrogena, Aveeno.
Those are fun lines.
Yeah, those were really fun. And then I went to Global Franchise. So I was the first Canadian employee to work in the American office, but be headquartered in Canada. So they couldn't figure out. So I think for like 2 months I didn't get paid because they couldn't figure out expenses or payroll. Right. And how they would do all that stuff. But that was super cool. I did that for a couple of years. And then Target called. I went to Target. That was fun to help Target Canada to get set up. And that was super fun. If they only listened to us, they'd still be here, I think.
They listen to all of us, even as competitors we were telling them what to do.
Yeah.
All they had to do is follow Walmart. I mean, really, but that's okay. It's a whole different story.
Honestly, I think the biggest weakness there was they bought all of the Zellers store leases all at the same time.
Yeah.
And it just sunk it. It
Plus,
was like an anchor,
really got
right?
Canada. I don't think that.
No,
I think you guys.
No.
I think because, if we have American listeners, so sorry, but Americans are when they look at Canada, they just think they know our country. They don't get it.
Yeah. We're
not the same.
We look the same, but we're definitely not. Yeah.
Totally different.
Our cultural buys, the way
everything,
our demographics, how we dense, like our urban density is totally different. But anyway, so Target was fun for a couple of years, and then I went to Hubba as a startup. I met Ben. He called on me actually. He pitched me an idea, and then I called him back and said, "You're not ready, but I want to come help you because it's super cool." So I did Hubba, Original Six at Hubba for 4 years. Raised like $35 million or something like that. Left. Did freelance for a year. Got sucked back into NIMI for biometrics for a year and a half, and now I'm back again. So
back to freelance.
Yeah. So all along the way, like Catman, sales, analytics, sales strategy, which was like trade marketing. And then Hubba was all digital marketing.
Right.
NIMI was marketing. And I've been marketing ever since. So
see, I always thought you were marketing because I just remember you coming in with Joanne and Lynn.
Yeah.
I think it was 1 or 2 visits and it was all, marketing. We all considered marketing. It was just all marketing stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So I guess the liaison between sales and marketing.
Yeah.
So than
yeah.
What was your schooling? What did you do at school?
U of T, and I did English and political science double major with a minor in philosophy and creative writing.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm, I planned this.
Wow. Yeah, really though, right? Well, the creative writing is definitively there.
Yeah.
I you know what? I wish this is that because I regret. If I were to do it, if I would go back and do it, I would have done an arts degree too.
What did you study?
I got my BCom in marketing.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
A few years before you started university, I finished.
Yeah.
But
just a handful of years.
Yeah, 6 or 7.
Yeah.
But if I were to do, you know what? If I would have done a history degree. I would have done history and probably a creative writing. I like creative writing and I liked history.
Yeah.
Right.
I love creative writing.
The thing to do, right? I mean, at that time, it wasn't like business is now where everybody. It seems everybody wants. Not everybody wanted to do business at that time. Teaching was huge.
Yeah.
I mean, the education faculty was packed. And you had all the science guys and all that shit. That was too complicated.
The creative writing was fantastic. I think my favorite course was at my fourth year. I had to audition for it, so I had to put together a portfolio, and then I spent a semester with the residents in writing. Just writing with a bunch of writers, and we'd write. That's all we would do. Is craft and craft and craft every week, and you'd have to bring stuff, and it was super cool. It was very fun.
See, I think that's cool because I like. When I learned I really liked writing. So when I was at London, I'm thinking what year. So this is probably going back to 2007, maybe 2008, and blogs were obviously getting quasi-popular in the normal world.
Yeah,
like people were writing blogs.
Yeah,
but there was really nobody writing in the retail world.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I remember one of the guys in marketing was a young guy. His name was Wayne Racine, and he was all. I think he knew that I didn't really know the technology, but I didn't give a shit.
Yeah,
because I knew I could figure out how to use the technology. I didn't have to know the mechanics.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah,
not like geeky like you. Like he was geeky like you. He knew all the back end. I don't get it, man. Just show me how to use it, and tell me why we're doing it. Right?
But
I'm good.
I remember reading your blog. I actually I remember reading your blog.
Tons of readership on that blog because I was the only buyer, merchandise manager in North America, literally at that time, writing a blog.
Yeah.
Right, and that was it.
And I had to explain to people what a blog was because of you, because I'd have all these retail folks go, "This Kenny guy, he writes stuff, and I was like, it's cool. Blogs are an up and coming thing. You could read it. You might learn something. He's the only buyer talking out there.
And I was trying to tell people very much like we do on our podcast now. Yeah. I did write at the time about how to approach a buyer.
Yeah.
Get your pricing figured out.
Yeah.
Like shit that, in theory, we're not supposed to tell because as a buyer, you're supposed to, basically rate people for the lowest price possible. Yeah. And that's just shitty business.
Yeah.
So why would you do that? Like, what's the win?
Yeah.
Where I would tell people, and I would think that's probably why I do what I do now. Because even the last probably 5-6 years for sure of buying and stuff, I probably spent more time doing consult for people, right? Than a lot of other things. I remember people would come in and I'd be thinking, "Oh fuck you, no, you need to stop." And look at me and I said, "Who else have you shown?" Well, I was going to show you, and I was going to say, "No." I said, "You stop right now. This is a recipe for bankruptcy."
Yeah.
We haven't built anything into this, and I'd walk people through that, right?
Yeah.
Obviously for no charge, because I was being employed by somebody, but I think that's what triggered me to finally leave, because I'm thinking, you know what, the amount of people I help, not that and trust me, you'll learn quickly when you leave a job that everybody you think that was going to follow doesn't. Just so everybody's very clear on that. So you'll learn quickly that doesn't happen, but it does show you that all the stuff I'm doing now is what I used to do. It just took a while from leaving till the first contracts to kind of to realize that. Do you know what I mean? But all the stuff I wrote, all the stuff I learned, all the free consults I did, you can make a go of this game.
Yeah, you really can.
From all that stuff you did.
Yeah.
Right? Think all your category management and the sales management, all the marketing stuff you did at Hubba while someone's paying you is all the stuff when you leave. You're thinking,
yeah.
I can do this.
Yeah. 100%. Right.
Right. And most people don't know how to do it.
Yeah. So,
time, man.
It's So we thought we'd do this episode. So this is entirely unscripted, but I think it's actually kind of interesting for us too. Because we figured we'd do this so that we, one, if you're tuning in for the first time, you kind of figure out who we are, and then two is because
figure out who the hell we are now. Because you know what it is, you start thinking about, what it is, because this is what you do to me, is you make me think differently. This has been a long time. It's a long time to be doing stuff. You've been in retail just over 35 years. I've been in retail 40 years.
Yeah.
Many different aspects of it. But you forget how long you've been doing things and how much you actually do. You actually do know.
Yeah.
I think that's one reason. I think that was one of the things, if I remember why, I know it was for me, what why I wanted to do, why I thought the podcast is a cool idea, no different than the blog, I guess, is because it's kind of new. It's kind of cool if you can share.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
Little things
Yeah.
you've learned.
Yeah.
So again, so nobody, maybe someone doesn't make the same mistake, or if they're going to make a mistake, at least make it a variation of, or a different one. Like,
Yep.
you have to make a mistake. That's fine.
Yeah.
Everybody learns that way. But
yeah,
if you can kind of just help people through it.
I think too, I still have a lot of, I think you do too, right? Is I have a lot of moments where I'll be coaching somewhere, helping someone, and then the thing that I think they're going to get tripped over isn't the thing that they get stuck on. It's something small that they just don't, like, to me is, like, we're going to go do this. And they're like, what is that? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Right. Like, so if you're listening to these episodes, like one that you'll hear Kenny and I trip over, like we're almost aghast, right? Because I think we're finally starting to come to grips with it. But the one that probably gassed us the most was how people who sell new product have no idea how to price for margin and how to make money at their product.
Drives me mental.
I think
drives
that
me crazy.
I think if anyone's so inclined to like log it, but I would guess that we probably lose our minds once every 3 or 4 episodes over it, right? Because to us it's like, if you don't learn retail math and you don't do it in your first kind of like first couple of years in the business, you pretty much shouldn't be in retail, right? Like, everybody can do, like, it doesn't matter how much of it, because like I gave you what I graduated in. There's no math in there whatsoever, but retail math is different, right? It's like ABCs, right? You just learn them, and then you learn what margins are, and you learn what profit is, penny profit, the whole bit. And so I think I spent the first year freelancing going, wait, what? Where's the rest of the math here, right? Like, you're missing like 8 lines of math. Like, where is it, right? Like,
yeah. Well, I got the cost in the retail. Yeah, I get all that, but you missed a whole ton of steps, or even like where'd you get the retail?
Yeah. Well,
how'd you figure that one out? Well, I've been selling it at the fair. That's great.
No, as soon as you hear, well, you're like, no, just stop. Just stop.
So if you're listening and have a new product, you better spend your time pricing.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, please.
And that means finding the retail, understanding what margin your retailer needs, understanding what margins your distributor or a broker, if you have to get one, need, what you need, what your true COGS are, what your true cost of goods are, and learn how to do it. Just a quick P&L, just a quick profit and loss. Go online. You can.
They're everywhere.
They'll show you how to do like literally 10-line Excel with just a little bit of plus and minus, addition and subtraction only. Well, you got to divide and maybe to get to a margin, but seriously, mindless.
Or shoot us a note. We'll send you a video.
Shoot us a note. We'll show you how to do it.
Like, no joke.
I mean, honestly, if you want to lose a lot of money, don't do a quick P&L. Like, it doesn't have to be massively complicated. You don't have to set the world on fire. But if you want to lose a lot of money, just wing it like most people do.
Yeah.
You know, the other one that drives me crazy too is the I've got a great product, and therefore I have a business, right? And you kind of got to tell people product does not make a business. It's not.
Yeah, it's. I feel sometimes. Well, maybe I don't feel bad anymore. I did in the beginning, because there were a bunch of people that I said to them, "That's cool. Are you always going to sell it at fairs?" And they're like, no, I want to, like, not with this, not the way you're doing it now. No. You're, if you make homemade pies and you're happy to sell them at the farmer's fair, great. Good for you, right? You can keep doing it the way you're doing it. But if you want to go like Walmart, Loblaws, you want to sell, no, not even close. Like,
no.
Yeah, it's a funny. You'll hear those things from there are a few things that will make both of us mental. Retail pricing is one of them.
I think the other one you hear from us quite a bit is, and it doesn't make any sense if you kind of know our backgrounds, but what's, the first thing, if someone came to you, Phil, I got this great mic. Can you help me get it into retail? And the typical first response is, why? Like, why do you want to go to retail?
Yeah.
And people look at you, like, well, but that's what you do. I said,
Yeah.
That might be what I do.
Yeah.
Why do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Because online has become such more of a thing that wasn't. I mean, if anything, COVID's completely blown online.
Yeah.
Completely out of the water.
Oh my gosh.
It was already happening anyway, obviously, but it's
Yeah,
the other
it's
one.
pretty
Is like,
funny.
I'm sometimes I don't know how many people I've shocked. But you're a retail consultant. I said, yeah, it doesn't mean I understand why you want to go into retail.
Yeah, it makes no sense to me. Why are you doing that? Yeah, I know. It's
So why do you not recommend people do it? What's your thing when people come to you? Like, I know my kickers are right. I know why I wouldn't dissuade you. I'd really make you think hard before you did anything.
I always ask about intentions. Because the thing is like, I think I think I resent the thought that it's easy street. Like, there's kind of the sentiment of like, I think it's going away now, but even up to a couple of years ago, it was like, I made a product. I can sell this shit. I can sell it anywhere. I'm going to sell it to Walmart and I'm good. And I always resented that because I always thought, one, it's a huge mistake. You're not good. You're entering a whole different kind of management life and you're asking for a whole different kind of pain. But you're nowhere close to good, right? Like you're going to sell more shit. You're going to cause more problems. And if you're not fundamentally strong on any things we just talked about, from pricing to P&Ls and everything, you're fucked, right? Like, so it's not an easy road at all, right? Like, and so I always kind of like, I guess the most effective way for me to get their attention was always to go, why? Do you want to make money at this? Like, don't go into retail. Like it's not for the faint-hearted, right? Like, you look at P&G and J&J, they have like hundreds of thousands of people to manage these vendors, right? Or these retailers, because that's how you make money at it, is you figure out every pain point and solve them all, right? Like,
it's a lot of work, man.
Individual vendors, like, yeah, if you're super tough at it or you're super good at it, yes, but for everybody else, So that's my thing, right? Is I always look at it and go, the world of retail is not linear. With digital and with COVID and like buy in store and pick up, like all those sort of things, there are, like COVID was such a neat, it's not neat.
I don't reword it. It's okay.
I don't mean
I got you. I understood you.
But it's the purest entrepreneurial way to sell, right? Because we were telling retailers to go, screw the Square, screw the technology, do it old school. Have them call you, write down the damn order, calculate it, send them back. Like they can pay any way they want when they arrive at the store.
Right.
Like you can make money like that. You don't need to go to Walmart, and you don't need to figure out how to pipe fill and drop ship to 3,000 locations. You don't need to worry about a buyer. You don't have to figure out how to fill out a rollback form. You don't have to figure out merchandising or
what a scan back means and why does it hurt and what's the difference in MCV and
all that bullshit that you got to learn along. It's not bullshit if it works for you, if that is your intention and you're building towards that, it works for you, it's great. But for most of these brands that we see, it's not the right answer at all, I think, so. I
think you're totally right. I think, or for it is, they're not picking the right retail.
Their
products don't lend to a Walmart. But they might lend to a whole bunch of local players. It might be great Longos and a shitty Metro.
Yep.
If you want to talk, larger retail.
Or
maybe it's just really good in the convenience channel and it's not great in mass retail. Whatever that is or isn't.
Or natural stores or, like all over the place. There's all sorts of different ways of doing retail, but everyone gets, I think that's the part I don't like, is everyone gets fixated on, oh, I gotta get into Walmart, I gotta get into Shoppers, I gotta get it. No.
Actually, a lot of
know
times
the game
it's
you're getting
absolutely
into,
no.
right? Like, yeah.
Well, we've got so many people that'll run to Costco or Winners, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, nothing wrong with either.
Yeah.
Until you want to go to someone else.
Yeah.
Right? You run into a store or a retailer, say, I'm in Costco. You're doing cartwheels.
Yeah.
You think that if you really think that's a selling feature to your world, think again, man. I'm in Winners. Oh, that's awesome. So you're in a discounter.
That
does me well.
So that's the lowest price you're going to go. So
okay,
I'm out.
So I have to. So
I'll see you later.
Down there? Yeah. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, it's it's been a really fun ride. Like we've got 130 episodes, 133. There's 134. We've got some super interesting episodes in there. I think if you're hitting us new, maybe let us know, right? Like you can find us. We'll put all the socials.
We're easy to find,
but we're super easy to find. And if there's a topic you want to talk about, you want to come on the show. We had Mark on. Mark, longtime listener, first time caller, on last
Mark
week.
Did it.
And that went pretty well. Yeah.
We've had the boss on once or twice, and she's not one that likes public speaking or talking, and she did it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then I guess the other pieces that you might want to know. So right now, both of us are on, post-COVID retail, what that looks like. We're both pretty concerned about that. We're both pretty concerned about how retail is going to fare, how many guys are going to recover. What are the other topics?
Levels.
Yeah.
Worry about how brands are going to fare. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of implications to COVID that I don't think people are going to appreciate. Yeah. I think you're going to see major SKU rats coming.
Yeah.
As retailers have learned what?
Yeah.
They've learned that consumers aren't going to spend a lot of time impulse shopping. So that means right away you can probably take 10% of the SKUs out of your store. They've realized that it's nice to have 6 types of kidney beans, but when you were down to 1 or 2, you sold just as many as when you had 10 SKUs or 10 brands. So do I need the other 8?
And it was easier to stock and easier to keep track of. Yeah.
Easier on POs, easier on AR, easier on AP, easier. Yeah. So again, if you're a brand in a cluttered category, I think pre-COVID you could survive. I hate to tell you, I think post-COVID you are going to have some massive challenges, especially if you're toward the bottom end of the popularity scale. Yeah. You might have survived before because I think retailers tolerated selection, and so do consumers. Yeah. Shopping's changed, man.
Yeah.
I think the only place for selection is going to be online.
But and that is an opportunity, right? Is
100%.
In the same form that retailers are going to be rationalizing, consumers are they know, right? Like if you're not going to the store and you're going to be able to find kidney beans, to be able to put yourself online means someone can find you, order from you direct. And maybe
that's complicated too. So
it's got its complications, but there's
maybe Walmart has an online play.
Yeah.
So there are retailers that maybe being in store isn't where you need to be, but you might want to be on their platforms. Yeah.
Right? What is that? The Philips endless aisle. Philips has an endless aisle. I was reading about that.
I haven't read that one.
That's interesting. Yeah, I'll have to send that.
I haven't read that one. See, I know retailers are starting to think like, if you think of it, Walmart in theory is starting to have endless aisles.
Yeah.
The stuff you can buy on Walmart.com that you cannot find in stores is much more impressive than what they have in the stores, because they're selling stuff they couldn't sell in store really.
Yeah.
Because their in-store consumer just doesn't match.
Yeah.
But on an online play, if I know what the product is, I don't have a problem buying from Walmart. I don't want to be seen in a Walmart. Yeah. No offense to Walmart. People shop Walmart. I'm just as an example. If I don't want to be seen in Walmart, but having it come to the house, I may not care.
Like it is one of those, like Walmart is one of those where everyone goes, no one likes the experience, right? But you go there because you have to, right? And so the endless aisle allows you to go, I don't need to walk in the store. I can order it online.
Exactly.
It'll come to my door. I don't care if they stock it in the regular store or not, right?
Doesn't
It makes
mean
no
anything.
difference to me. Yeah,
All I know is Walmart's protecting me. I
Yeah.
know that they're going to be reasonable,
Yeah.
Reasonably priced, because that's their
Yeah.
whole mantra.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, you know what?
okay.
Maybe that's not
Yeah.
an unsafe place to be.
Yeah.
I mean, our focus in a lot of our businesses right now is the same. We're pushing much more to online retailers,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
definitively, I've learned from COVID that
Yeah.
honestly, the day you're not, I will spend hours online farting around looking for shit. I'm not going to sit in a store.
Yep.
Especially because so much of our media is from the States.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit in the store when the numbers are going through the
Yeah.
roof.
Yeah.
I am not going to do it. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Agree.
Right. But again, if you're a product and you were an impulse-based product, now what?
Yeah. What do you do, right?
Got to find a different place to be impulsive.
Yeah. So we're coming up to an hour. This is us. If you have thoughts, you want to hear a topic, you want to come on the show, hit us up.
Yeah, let us know.
We've got some really interesting folks coming up. We have the lady who couldn't join us tonight is going to join us. She runs a software company that you'll want to know about. We've got did I lose you there for a second? No,
I'm back now.
And then we've got the other person that you've reached out to that's going to be on the show.
Yeah, we've got a couple. We've got someone who's in a large food CPG company, which would be fascinating if we can set a time. We may have to work our times a little differently, Phil.
Yeah.
Got a buddy whose family immigrated from Iran during the time of the Shah and have done remarkably well in North America on a cool line. So we've got a lot of really cool success stories that I think people love to hear, and it's just because they're just great stories, right?
Yeah.
Just cool spots to be. So.
And then we got I shared it with Kenny, but I'll organize with them as well. But there was a company that just did an infographic on results that were fielded pre-COVID and then mid-COVID on buy online, pick up in store.
I would love to have those people on ASAP.
Yeah,
I think that is so cool.
Yeah, so I said to them, yeah, we're interested. Let us know what works. So you and I'll probably have to do some daytime,
whatever,
some daytime conversation. So
well, we may have to do some daytime on some of these other guys too, because not
yeah, it's cool.
That's everything. It's just so you know, like I'm in Vancouver,
and
it's 9:00 right now my time, and Phil's in Ontario, so it's midnight his time.
Yeah. It's very cool.
See, it's another thing Phil does. He's even a nice guy on top of it. Not just smart and knows everything. He's even nice.
Stop
Holy
it.
shit, man.
Stop
what
it.
What the hell?
Oh, man.
I'm a lucky boy.
All right. This is the episode. This has actually been pretty cool. It's been pretty fun.
Yeah, we haven't talked about ourselves in a long time.
Yeah.
So hopefully people got a better idea of what
You better listen to this one. We're not going to do this for another 130 episodes or so.
Well, we won't remember anyway, so it's not going to matter.
Oh, man. Awesome, dude.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah?
Time
Thanks.
to go watch a little tele because I'm trying to get down to, what's my number? 37.5?
37.5.
Hey, I can't be like you.
There's a Wicked show. I don't actually know where it is. I because it's a podcast, I'm not going to say on air where I got it from, but there's a show called Pennyworth that is it's about Alfred Pennyworth, the Bruce Wayne butler, and his backstory.
See, that would be pretty cool.
It is fucking wicked.
Really?
I am through, like, there's season 1, and I think I picked it up 3 days ago.
Oh, you're like,
and I'm almost done with it. Like,
4 or 5 episodes a night.
Like,
oh, geez.
Son of a bitch! I don't want to finish it, but I want to finish it. So
yeah, I get it.
If you can't find it, let me know, and I'll figure out how to get you.
I thought it was on.
It's on one of those. It's on
the upper channels, but I thought it was on the Crave or Stars or something, because I've seen it, or HBO maybe.
Yeah, It's interesting. It's very
Okay, really?
Yeah.
Good.
It's
I've been watching.
it's right up your alley because it's like post-war. It's
I like that.
post-war Britain. You know, when it was very unstable, when all the left and the right wings were kind of like joshing for power, and like, you know, and then the character stays very true, you know, the storylines, at least what we know of
Right.
Alfred. So it's pretty damn cool.
Okay,
Anyway.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to watch it. I've been watching Line of Duty.
Okay.
It's a
Is
British.
that any good?
Sure, because I've watched 3 seasons in 3 nights or 4 nights, right?
Okay.
Because like you
Okay.
know, so I'm typing
Yeah.
and doing reports and going back in and thinking, okay, that's the character in the show. That wasn't Phil. So thank God I didn't hit send. Or, you know, you'd be writing and, you know, I'm arresting somebody because you're
Yeah.
watching type, you know, it's just a gong show.
So Line of
Apparently,
Duty.
Yeah, Line
Is
of
that-
Duty. I like it.
Is that on one of the streaming networks, or is on
It's
on TV
Netflix.
or
On
Netflix?
Well,
Okay.
say that. I don't mind
Okay.
pushing it. It's Netflix. It's
Okay.
it's pretty good though.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been watching. You know what it is? I've got to the point now. I'm scrolling, trying to find stuff to watch, and all the stuff that's left is just shite.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like watching. Or I'm
Yeah.
thinking, oh, fuck, this is 100 episode that I haven't started, and I've got really bad tendencies. This could be like 5 days, but I'm not going to be doing anything except watching this damn show. So I'm trying to control
Yeah.
myself, but I start. You know what? And then it'll end up
Yeah.
thinking, oh, fuck,
Yeah.
okay, it's like 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
just
already
it's
in.
only 40 minutes.
Yeah,
I've already
yeah.
committed. I need to see this next part.
Oh
Let's
my
just
God!
do
It's
it.
5 a.m. What the hell?
Shit, man.
Yeah.
So that's
yeah.
that. I have
Yeah.
no discipline.
It's awesome.
Anyway,
I
it's
love
an
it.
hour. Let's
All
go.
right.
Nobody wants to hear any more about you and me in an hour.
All right, buddy. Have a
Okay,
good
my
night.
friend. Thanks, man. We'll chat
Take
with you
care.
soon.
Yeah.
Ciao, bud.
Okay. Bye. All right, that's the end of this Commerce Life. We'll be back soon with the next episode. Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed it. Give us feedback. Tell us what you think. Subscribe, like us, join us, share us, tell your friends about us. And we hope to see you next time with more commerce news.